Google Maps. A site that everyone knows, and a site that a lot of people probably use before every new journey to plan their route. Over the years, the Google car has captured a range of strange things on its adventures around the world. From pigeon people to bins filled with creepy mannequins, you can find everything on Street View, and an internet user would add on to this list of unsettling discoveries when they would spot this. A pickup truck with what appears to be people in the back. Some people think that the Google car captured the aftermath of a slaying on camera, and they've gone as far as to blur the back of the truck if you try to look now. But what is the truth behind this capture? It appears that there are two people in the back of the truck, both appearing to be female. Some people believe that this may be a woman and a dog, however. The shot was captured essentially in the middle of nowhere on a road surrounded by nature. The date of the capture was August 2009. And the road has not been photographed by Google since. The truck itself appears quite old and dirty, but it is highly possible that it appears that way as a result of the camera quality. We cannot tell anything about the driver as the two shots in which the vehicle is clear, they are not visible due to angle and lighting. If you move your view to roughly 3 miles down the road, you can also view what some people think are military vehicles and personnel with jerry cans. This all seems very strange, but is it likely to be a lifeless body in the back of this truck? Probably not, as it would make no sense as to why they would have that exposed, even if you were in the middle of nowhere. While we can't be 100% sure of the truth, some users have come up with theories that seem to be believable. The position that the people are in seem unnatural, mainly the foot resting on the back of the truck, which would have only been done once it was closed, indicating that someone who is in fact alive did it off their own accord. People have also stated that if you continue down the road, you can look back and it seems as if there are people leaning over the side of the truck looking back at the Google car. This leads people to believe that maybe they were hiding because either they didn't want to be captured on Google Maps or because they thought it was a police car. I'm inclined to believe this. The final theory some people have come up with is that these are mannequins or actors hired for a training situation. This is what people use to explain the people appearing to be military down the road. Some people have written them off as simply being on the same road, which could be very possible. Users explained the jerry cans by saying that on roads like these, since there can be no gas stations for miles, drivers will often carry jerry cans to ensure that they don't run out of gas and get stranded on a road like this. Maybe they are completely unrelated to the truck, but I guess we'll never know for sure. While this isn't solved, we certainly have some theories that seem plausible. I'm inclined to believe that they were alive and simply hiding from the vehicle for a multitude of reasons, but let me know what you think in the comments. The following video shows the moments before a flight crashed in January of this year. It was captured on livestream and shows how quickly life can be taken away. The device continued to film even after the plane had crashed, which is something you don't see often. There are videos of the final moments before a disaster all over the internet, however most cut to black, but not in this case. The person recording is joking around, quoting memes, and looking out the window admiring the view. But in a moment, there is no laughter, and all that remains is the ambience of the aftermath of the crash. The meme he was quoting was from India, where it was made popular after a car crash video went viral. Very eerie to say the least. The man recording the video was actually a father whose child had been born recently. He was travelling to Nepal from India to pay obeisance to Lord Pashupatinath, but as we know, he would never make it. He already had 2 daughters, and he took a vow to visit the temple if he had a son. He was identified as 35-year-old Sonu Jaiswal. The crash occurred because because of a sudden dip in the left wing of the aircraft. It reportedly has a terrible safety record, and it is actually known for its range of mechanical issues. Nepal is also terrible at managing its air fleet, and they're not even allowed to operate in the EU, which says a lot. It was likely not the fault of the pilot, as he had 35 years of experience flying, and more likely the fact that the aircraft was probably second or third hand due to Nepal's extreme cost-cutting measures. Among the lives lost was a doctor, his wife and child, and a local singer who was famous in Nepal. This is likely the closest we'll ever get to seeing lives be taken away this quickly, and it's certainly disturbing to say the least. Diana Webb is a 21-year-old woman who, earlier this year, was driving drunk when she was pulled over by two police officers. She rolled down her window, and the police began to speak to her. She was questioned about her driving, and before long, the officers would receive an urgent call to an incident happening just down the road from where they were. They let Webb go and entered their vehicle. They drove away, sirens blaring, and left Webb in her vehicle without a ticket. She continued on her way, driving recklessly, and before long, she would arrive at the scene where the two officers had sped off to. She then drove into and ended the lives of the two officers that had previously pulled her over, and the civilian that they had assisted, at around 110 miles per hour. She was arrested on March 22nd, 2022 in relation to the crash, and was charged with 18 crimes. The crimes include third-degree slaying of the officers, homicide by vehicle, manslaughter of a law enforcement officer, involuntary manslaughter, recklessly endangering another person, and driving under the influence. If she had been charged with all of these, she would have been set up for decades in prison at a young age. She ruined her life by making a stupid decision, and it just shows how quickly life can change. An interesting detail in this case is that in the past, January of 2022, she had made a tweet to her Twitter account about how good of a drunk driver she was. This implies that she has done this multiple times before in the past, and hasn't been caught until she made this ultimate mistake. The judge that initially saw her drop the murder charges against her, however, they have since been refiled. Her trial took place in September 2022, and she actually pleaded not guilty to the charges. A trial is set to take place in 2023. However, it has been said that it will likely not take place until later in the year.
This is what was captured on hundreds of doorbell cameras around America. On Saturday, the 3rd of December at 7:15 p.m., residents of Kootenai County would be surprised to hear and feel a mysterious boom in the vicinity, similar to that of an explosion. Residents would take to Facebook to report that they too had heard the strange sound. So we just had like an explosion or an earthquake? Where is our news media? What the heck is going on? I heard and felt it here in Northwest Hayden. Shook the windows and wall hangings on the north side of my house. Earthquakes don't create a flash of light in the sky, are just some of the comments left by confused and concerned citizens. People's minds were running wild with theories on what had happened, but the running theory was that there had been an explosion at a nearby train yard, or that something unexpected had happened at the local power plant. This would soon be proved to be false, however, when the Northern Lakes Fire Protection District would release a statement that reads as follows. Tonight, around 7:15, a loud noise was heard throughout Kootenai County. There were many rumors of fires or explosions at the rail yard or at a mill. They are all false. The photos and videos of a glow in the sky are the lights from the power plant. So, the lights have been explained, but not the sound. It's very strange that the lights and the massive boom happened around the same time, but it could very well be a coincidence. These explosion sounds were also reported in New Jersey, Grand Rapids, New York, and Canada, among other locations. While the sound has not been directly tied to anything, the sheriff did conclude that it was likely a sonic boom related to aviation or space. Some people now believe that this was simply the result of a falling meteor or similar space debris. But that still does not explain the lights that were seen in more places than just near the power plant. What do you make of all this? Do you have any theories that explains the lights and the sounds that were heard? In November 2022, the following post would be made to RBI. Please help. I think my neighbor is accessing my Alexa through Bluetooth, and I have no idea how to stop it. As the title says, I'm 99% sure my neighbor has hacked into my Alexa using Bluetooth. I reached out to Alexa support, and they were no help. When I go in to see what devices are connected, it says Joshua's iPhone. I have no idea who Joshua is. It's not the first name of my downstairs neighbor, but I know that I or no one I know has ever connected this iPhone to my device. So, why do I think it's my neighbor's? Well, for one, they're strange, but I won't go into detail on that because it's irrelevant. But two, we have a young baby, and on a few occasions, our Alexa has started blasting music out of nowhere late at night. I had a feeling it might be our neighbors fucking with us because again, they are weird. I tested something out today, where I turned on Jump Around by House of Pain and started jumping manically around. They live below us. Keep in mind, this is the middle of the day, so yeah, I was being obnoxious, but not at an ungodly hour. My Alexa turned off twice on its own during the song. I am now like 1000% convinced it's them. People in the replies would almost immediately give OP the answers that they were looking for, to go into their settings and unpair the device. This raised questions from OP and other users about why Amazon support couldn't just tell them how to do this in the first place. People also gave OP a way to figure out exactly who this Joshua person is, but by the time they had disconnected the phone from their Alexa, it was too late to execute this method. For those who don't have an Alexa, you can ask it to phone any phone that's connected to it. That means that if OP had asked it to phone Joshua's iPhone, they would have been put on a call with the person behind all of this, and be able to give them a taste of their own medicine. It's certainly a great thing to keep in mind if Joshua should ever dare to reconnect to OP's device. It's crazy to think how much information someone could get just from accessing an Alexa without permission. They could view Amazon orders, listen in on conversations, and possibly even access Ring doorbell cameras. So this is a serious security issue that could put someone at risk, especially someone not in the know about technology. It's already creepy to think about how these devices are listening in on you every second of your day. But what can you possibly do, aside from stare in the corner at it helplessly as you're watching this video? We can be thankful that OP has managed to resolve their issue, and maybe it will give us all that push to check our devices for connections that we don't recognize.
Huge thank you to Tetsuya for joining me for this video. A link to their channel will be in the description and on the end screen. I highly recommend you check them out as they make some great content. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters Maury Gann, Neil, Alex Rod, K4 Silver, Entreprenaut, Dennis, Chelsea Weinzel, Colette Tiki, and Cynic Sally.